listeners, if you're newer to the miniature painting hobby, you may have not had any experience yet painting yellow. But painting yellow is widely considered to be one of the most difficult colors to paint in the miniature painting hobby. The reason being, our miniatures tend to be very, very tiny. And of all of the pigments that are used in acrylic paints, yellow is one of the largest pigment molecule sizes. So it can be very, very difficult to get very, very smooth layers with yellow acrylic paint. However, I stumbled across another YouTube channel, the Tabletop Artist. So shout out to him. He does really, really great, easy to follow tutorials. But in his Qiang videos, he had not just one, but actually numerous recipes for yellow involving contrast paints and then highlighting up from that contrast layer that were super easy to follow and produced really great results. So now, I personally have struggled with yellow in the past, and I tend to avoid that color. But with Infinity Defiance, you're forced, well, not technically forced, I technically could have painted this miniature any color I wanted, but Qiang Power Armor typically has yellow pleating. So I wanted to stay as close to the source material as possible and challenge myself. So I followed one of the Tabletop Artist recipes, and I was actually able to get a result that I'm pretty happy with. So let's go down to the paint table, and I'll show you how I got this done. Okay, so to start off with, I'm just showing the miniature after I have primed it. Since we're working with light colors, mainly yellow, I went ahead and mixed some white acrylic ink into my Vallejo gray surface primer to get that really, really light gray color. And now we're going to start by applying Black Templar contrast paint to the main weapon. Alright, so next up, I'm going to make a 3-to-1 mix of Gryph-Charger Gray and Black Templar. It gives you a really nice bluish gray color. I'm going to apply this to the magazine feed, all of the undersuit, and armor panels that are not on the outermost layer, as well as the ammo hopper on the shoulder. So this is actually going to cover the majority of the miniature and give us a really, really nice, deep, again, grayish blue metallic color. That will be the base for most of our armor. Okay, so next I'm using matte white from the Army Painter, and all of the areas that we just painted in the previous step, I'm now going to dry brush to pick out all of the hard edges so that we get a really, really nice defined edge highlight with minimal effort. And now I'm doing this stage now so that we don't have to worry about highlighting these parts later after we've started working with our yellow. And now, still using matte white, I'm just going back, and any of the armor plates that are going to be painted yellow in the future, I'm touching them up and making sure that we have that nice uniform white base to work from. We don't want any spillover from our previous black and gray layers. Alright, with that step finished, I'm now going to use Gilliman Flesh contrast paint to go ahead and paint the miniature's face. You want to apply this pretty thickly so that you get some really nice deep shadows in the eye sockets, around the nose and the cheekbones, and around the mouth. Alright, and now it is time to start on our yellow. So we're going to use Urial Yellow contrast paint to put down our initial layer. Now, when I'm applying this, I'm making sure that my brush isn't too overloaded. You don't want this paint to pull on the flat surfaces of the armor. So if you do notice any pulling, try to move the paint around before it starts to dry. However, if there is a little bit of pulling that you missed, that is okay. We'll be able to touch that up in a future step. But you want to try and get this layer down as neatly as possible. So while we're waiting on that yellow layer to dry, we're going to go ahead and hit just a couple of panels that we've selected. We're going to leave those white, and now we're going to coat them with Apothecary White, which is a very light blue-gray, which is perfect for adding some shade to pure white panels on the armor. So we're going to go ahead and apply that. There's just a few panels, the one shoulder across the shoulder blades, and then it's a little hard to see, but under the gun at the top of the thighs, there are a couple of thigh plates that are done in this color as well. Okay, so now we're going to mix basic skin tone and Basilicanum Gray to create a shaved appearance to the scalp and the sideburn areas of the head. Adding in that little bit of a gray tone heavily desaturates the skin tone, and when you apply that and glazes over your normal skin tone, it gives the appearance of shaved skin. Now we're just going to use pure basic skin tone to add some highlights to the raised areas of the face. Okay, so now we're going to correct any pulling problems that we may have had on the yellow armor plates by covering them up with Urial Yellow. Now, we're really only concerned with the flat surface of the armor. We don't want to cover up the contrast paint that may have pulled in the recesses. That's giving us our shade. we only want to correct any pulling that may have occurred on the flat upper surfaces. So you can apply just 1 or 2 thin layers and you'll be able to get really nice coverage here. Alright, and now we are going to use Vallejo Ice Yellow, and we're going to apply this as a traditional edge highlight to every single edge of these yellow panels. Now, mercifully, there aren't that many, since the majority of the miniature is painted in that blue-gray metallic color, but for all of these yellow panels, we really need them to pop. So we're going to go ahead and edge highlight every single one of them. It is a little time consuming. In order to do a good job on this, because you really don't want to have to go back and do touch-ups, you want to make sure that your brush is not overloaded, and you don't want to overly thin this paint. I didn't directly add extra water to the paint, just whatever moisture was in my brush from cleaning it, that's all of the water that I wanted. All right, hobby warriors, so there you have it. This is the finished miniature. For the basing, I know I didn't show recorded footage of it. The reason being, I have a basing guide that I'm going to link up in the cards. If you're interested in how I do my bases, you can go ahead and watch that video. I heavily use the Geek Gaming Scenics base ready range. This is their urban rubble that once it got stuck down, I went ahead and applied a few different colored washes to it, just because it's a uniform gray color. So adding those washes over top just adds a spot of some different colors and helps make the base a little bit more realistic. Luke over at Geek Gaming Scenics actually recommends himself that you do that specifically with that urban base ready mix. And to rectify that, he actually ended up making a second type of the urban mix where you don't have to put a wash over it. I just didn't have any of that on hand. But again, check out that video up in the cards. Let me know down in the comments how you guys, like this yellow finish on the power armor. I'm personally very, very pleased with it. It was very easy to achieve this level of a result. Again, shout out to the tabletop artist. When I actually posted my work in progress pictures on Instagram, he was actually kind enough to respond to me, which was kind of cool. So again, shout out to him. Seems like a really great guy. Definitely makes great content. Highly recommend it. If you like the content that I'm doing here, go ahead and hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, turn on the notifications so that you know when I'm posting new videos. If you're into Infinity or Infinity Defiance, hang on to your seats. I'm painting up all of the heroes this week. This is just the tip of the iceberg. This is the first one. I've still got the rest of the crew to get through. And this week I'm going to be dropping videos at least every other day, if not every day. I'm going to try and get through 1 or 2 heroes a day so that next weekend we can start recording some of the missions. So thanks for watching, Hobby Warriors. I'm going to go ahead and sign off from this one, and I'll see you in the next video. Till then, keep slaying the gray.